Welcome to Grey County Life on Rogers TV. I'm one of your hosts, Rhonda Brown, and we have...
And I'm Mary Jane Murray, and this is your favorite lifestyle magazine show on Rogers TV.
We are missing one character who's been part of the show for quite some time, and I actually felt bad leaving him at home this morning.
Oh, Charlie.
Yes, I think I'm going to have to bring him in at some point just so he can have a little guest spot. And I think he'll be behaved, I hope. But I think we've got an incredible show lined up today. But first, we're going to explain...
Well, yes, the orange shirts. And today we're taping, which, however, it is really next Friday, September 30th, in honor of Every Child Matters. And I think what is important is that we have an opportunity to talk about the truth and reconciliation, to honor those who have the survivors of residential schools and the intergenerational trauma that has also occurred as a result of the residential schools. And I think it's really important that we spend some time to honor Every Child Matters, and particularly with all the events that have been happening that are so sad. And it is also an opportunity for schools to put in some anti-bullying and some anti-racism policies right into their school routine and policies. And I think that starting off the school year and honoring Every Child Matters with your orange shirt. Now, the Orange Shirt Day actually started with Philip Webstead and her story when she was being sent to residential schools. She and her grandmother went to the local store and her grandmother bought her this beautiful orange shirt that she treasured. And of course, when she went to residential school, it was taken from her and she never saw it again. Not only did she lose her shirt, but she lost her culture and her language and her religion as well.
Her whole identity.
And so her whole identity. And I think this is just a way of honoring and acknowledging the trauma that happened during those years.
And you know, there's lots of people that will have the thought that, well, I didn't do it. Why do I have to acknowledge it? Why are we still beating this, you know, dead horse? But to me, and I think, obviously, acknowledging it, thinking about it, bringing it to the light. There's so much about it, about residential history, Indigenous history in Canada that I don't know about. And without talking about it and realizing that that past trauma in a family has effects for generations. And that's what this is about. So if you had an inkling of the trauma that these families have gone through, you would understand where we're at today and why it's so important to acknowledge and bring it to the light.
Well, I also think that as adults, understanding this history, but also recognizing that if children are now wearing an orange shirt on September 30th, they're asking more questions. And really what the whole process is not to repeat the mistakes of the past by educating the next generation.
Yeah. So we wear our orange shirts in recognition.
We do.
And we do look fabulous in orange. I mean, we've coordinated here. We didn't even do this on purpose. We're pretty good.
We are. We're very good. And just before we go to break, I did want to just update the community with an event that's coming up, and we're just going to slip it in there. The Canadian Women's University, the Canadian Federation of University Women, are hosting an event on Tuesday, October the 4th. And they have invited Ted Barris to come and talk about his new book. And we have some of Ted Barris's books, and he always authors World War II history. And it's called The Battle of the Atlantic, The Gauntlet to Victory. And I think that, and it's $20, tickets are $20. You can get them at the Ginger Press or at the Grey Gallery or at the door if you just happen to go. Yep. So I have personally met Ted in the past. I actually baked him an apple pie, and it's always a delight to have him come back to our community.
Okay, wait a minute. What did Ted have to do for an apple pie? Because I'm still waiting here, people.
Okay. Apple pie comes in next week.
Pie, woohoo! And you know what? It's the idea that here's a fellow who's actually writing history, world history, studying it, researching it, and putting the time into it. Again, bringing awareness to what happened in the past so we don't repeat ourselves. And it sounds, it's on repeat, but I think each generation needs to know these stories, right?
I think it's really important, and his works are really well written. And so it's interesting, the juxtaposition of talking about history of the Orange Shirt Day and Truth and Reconciliation, and then of course the history going back to World War II. So it really is about understanding our history in the broader perspective.
Yeah. Well, we have a fabulous show today because we've got the ladies that gave us Backroads of Southern Georgian Bay, the best of the region revealed. We're going to have these ladies come and talk about the book that they've got out, and I think you're going to like it. I think I'm going to keep a copy in my car all the time because who doesn't want to know where to go and what to see? And then after that, we have live music. Oh. Well, not live music. We've taped the singing version, but Paige is coming on to talk about her music. So that's very exciting. And then, of course, Adorable Adoptables with Renee. And we have no idea who's coming on as a guest with Renee, but we're always excited to see who she brings on and how rambunctious they are. So it's going to be a good show. Be sure to stay tuned to Grey County Life on Rogers TV.
Closed captioning is brought to you in part by Raven Reads. Unbox Indigenous voices. Subscribe today at ravenreads.org.
I did it. I need it.
A hero gave it.
And I am alive.
As an organ donor, you can save up to 8 lives and enhance the lives of 75 others. Please go to our website. Pledge a gift of life. You'll be glad you did.
The law states a boater must carry up-to-date charts in the largest scale available for the body of water on which they are boating. Nautical marine charts are available for all charted waterways across Canada. Mobile navigation apps can also be a good navigation aid. If you are using an app or electronic charts, it's a good idea to carry paper charts as well. They are a good backup in case of a power failure.
Are you the type who would keep going or stop? It's not easy to stop when you have an addiction. Legalizing cannabis won't stop addiction. It trivializes its consumption. Let's be vigilant. If you need help, visit portage.ca.
Welcome back to Grey County Life. I'm one of your hosts, Rhonda Brown, and we have 3 ladies as guests right now with us, and they are the authors of The Backroads of Southern Georgian Bay, the best of the region revealed. Really beautiful book, and highlights our area and food and stuff and stories, which is just up our alley. So ladies, I'm going to get you to introduce your own names so that I don't goof it up.
I'm Lynn Barnes, and I did the writing and history.
And I'm Carrie Lockhart. I did the recipes.
And I'm Beverly Smith. I did the maps and the illustrations.
Wow. And I understand by hand, which is very impressive. Yes. We'll get to that afterwards, but Carrie.
Lynn.
Yeah. I get names in my head and they're just everywhere. Lynn, tell us about how you guys got this started and what inspired you.
Well, it really began in the early 1990s, and I had, as they say, a day job, but I also was doing advertising and writing Backroads articles for a small magazine in the area.
Wow.
And I so enjoyed doing the Backroads articles, and I was working one day and thinking, you know, it would be great if Carrie, who I knew has a great background with food, and I knew Beverly and professional artist, and I knew she would bring a real flair to the whole thing as well. So I thought it would be just amazing if we could put this all together and do a book. So I asked the ladies, and they both said yes, thank goodness, so that was fun. So we spent quite a lot of time putting it all together. Had it printed at Beverly's husband had a printing shop, and we had it printed there. We used to stand at tables and collate it ourselves and the whole bit, and then we sent it away for binding, and we self-published that. And then we did 2 more after that, a biking one and we called it the gastronomic day trip, where you drove and we talked about restaurants and brew pubs and things, but Carrie still had her recipes in, of course. Then we had Boston Mills Press find us and were interested in amalgamating it, and we added the Bruce Peninsula, and we added a bit to the Midland area as well. And then that was, that was by the mid-90s, and then, we had our fun and did our thing, and then that was it for a while until Beverly came up with the bright idea that we have so many new people in our area now, and roads had changed their names with amalgamation and things.
Yep. So
she came up with the idea of reissuing the book, and the maps are now in color. But it was a great experience right from the start. Finding out information about the area, I spoke to a number of people who are now gone. They're no longer here to tell us these stories, but I spoke to people whose families had been in the area for generations. A woman named Nan Maitland, who grew up in a very well-known Clarksburg house called Grape Grange, and her great-grandfather and grandfather had planted the trees there as saplings, and another friend, Al Heslip, whose relative was the first non-native child born in the area. Mr. Mackey, whose family had been here forever, and who lived next door to the family. The gentleman had been the mailman who'd walked the old mail road from Barrie to Onset. Just first-hand stories.
Yeah.
So that was incredible to do.
Yeah,
and,
it would be.
Yeah. So that's sort of how it all came together. And of course, there was other research that I did through books and getting a number of sources. So there's anything from folk stories almost to, of course, factual history.
Yeah. Wow, what a great way to get to know your area and the people and the food, and very, very interesting.
Yeah. And there's different areas in throughout our book have various some grow apples, some grow or there's so everything fits together.
Yeah. Yeah, does it ever. And you're absolutely right that to do an updated version with the new names and the new people that have come into our communities, this is a great resource. That's what I was saying. I'm going to keep it in my car so that when I'm out and about, I like to go on day trips, road trips all the time.
Yeah.
So
and you
it's
might get to places you didn't even know about.
And
there's lots.
We were encouraged because our first book, as Lynn can say, did really well.
Well, yes, we were on the Globe and Mail bestseller list for specialty books.
Wow.
So we were very proud of that.
That is a feather in your cap.
Yeah.
Yeah, very much so. Now, and I understand that you've been in charge of recipes.
Yes, I have been.
I must say, food is a big thing for me, and I've got to say the one recipe that I noticed that I am definitely going to be trying for sure is the oatmeal butter tart squares.
Yes.
So how did you get inspired? Like, do you taste, like, what's your background?
Well, I used to have a health food store, which is actually where Lynn and I we had a stores almost adjacent to each other.
Okay.
So we spent a lot of time getting to know each other. And anyway, that's when I started getting into food and healthy food. Now, butter tarts, there is butter in it, which is the best part.
That is the best part.
That's why it's butter tart square. And but all the recipes are easy, from scratch, but quick and easy.
Yeah, and I think we've got a video for one of the recipes that I think is going to be highly popular.
Yes, and it's the Nutty Fudge.
The Nutty Fudge, let's watch that.
No baking required Nutty Fudge. Have you picked up your copy of Backroads of Southern Georgian Bay? It's full of historical facts, beautiful maps, and delicious recipes. We are making the Nutty Fudge picnic recipe today. In a saucepan, heat peanut butter with honey over low heat, blending well. Remove from the heat and add cocoa powder, mixing it together. Next, let's add some crushed walnuts, some sesame seeds, raisins, shredded coconut, and sunflower seeds, combining it all together. Press the mixture into a baking dish and then chill in the fridge for about 2 hours before cutting into squares and serving. You are going to love this one. Books are available at Indigo or your local bookstore.
Oh my goodness, Nutty Fudge, yes. Yeah. You know what? I have a family member, I won't mention his name, Mr. Taylor, but he will absolutely go nutty about those. I know it. So yeah, I'm going to try that for sure.
And it is easy. Well, peanut butter, honey, chocolate. That does it all right there. So
and get to use local honey, which is always a good idea.
That's right.
I love that.
And of course, that's what we do now. So every bit of honey is snuck into many recipes, but it is not a honey cookbook. But we sneak it into quite a few recipes because that is how I cook. So it's yeah, but it's but yeah. So we started off the first couple books. There's recipes that are from some of those, but a lot of them have been updated. We do in this one especially because you have picnic spots. There's charcuterie boards and quinoa salad. Of course, 25 years ago we didn't know what quinoa was. Yeah. So and there's things that you can make the day before or that morning even, or there's also recipes that you can come home to and make them then. So it's they're pretty easy, and they have to do with the roots. So if Lynn has mentioned apples or butter or all those things, then that's kind of what guided me as to what the recipes were going to be.
Yes. Now, and I noticed one thing that I wanted to ask you about: medicinal flowers and herbs.
Yes.
Is that something you've added in there?
That actually was more of Lynn's addition. Okay. There are a few things, but I have not added those into my recipes. But of course, all the different flowers and herbs can be added into any of the salads or even on the charcuterie board.
Oh yeah,
yes.
Yeah, it'd be beautiful.
Yeah.
But I just love the idea that there's a lot of information in here that's, not just about, it's not just a map book. No. It's got so much information in there.
And you can have it in your car, but you can also have it on your coffee table, because I call it the armchair read, because you don't even have to drive it, because it's done in a chatty style so that you can learn the history of our area, which is really what we're trying to get out to people. But there's picnic spots if you do have it in your car, and then there's terrific maps.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
And that brings us to Beverly and the fabulous artistic work. It jumps out at you. I think it's just, I love the style and the colors. Yeah.
It's fun to have done it in color. Our Boston Mills Press one had color on the cover, but not inside. So it was a lot easier to do the routes and the maps, so I could have red as the route and different colors for the side roads or the main roads.
Yeah.
That was helpful and fun. So this time I got to have the routes in different seasons. Before, if it's just in black and white, it's obviously doesn't. So
it just doesn't pop.
No.
Yeah.
So choose some of the routes. The winter routes are the routes that had so much map involved. There wasn't room for a lot of illustrations. Because winter isn't the most colorful season.
Not around
and then
here.
the ones where I had more space to do more illustrations, that became the ones that I could add the color. So that was fun.
They are gorgeous. I love the colors. So what, you mentioned at the beginking that it was your husband that...
He had the printing company?
He had the printing company. Are you still involved with that sort of thing?
No, because we self-published the first 3, so we were then. But then when Boston Mills, we didn't have to worry about that. And to do this one, Boston Mills had been bought out by Firefly, so I contacted them and said, do you have an electronic version of our book? So that we could just edit from that. And they hadn't heard about the book, and just in corresponding with the publisher of Firefly, he said, well, I think we'd be interested in doing your book. So because if we were self-publishing, we couldn't have afforded to do the color.
Boy, it must have been quite the learning process and very different even today as from when you started out.
Yeah, and doing the maps not on the computer, because that's not how my style, it isn't the style, but they have to be dead on accurate. Because people are drawing on the road, and if you don't put every side road in, they're counting that as they're going down the road.
Yes, they are.
So yeah, I worked from 4 different maps: Grey Bruce map, tourist map, the provincial maps. I used 4 of them to
bring everything together.
To bring everything together to do every route. So it was challenging, but it's good. It's a good challenge.
Yeah. Oh, gee whiz. I mean, it certainly does keep you active and busy and keep the brain working and remembering all of this stuff that you've done. Yeah. Oh, it's amazing.
Yeah, we each work individually, but then we get Carrie, we get to benefit from Carrie because she got to try out some recipes on us. So that was...
We like our group meetings where we get treats.
Yes, I don't doubt it.
Yeah.
I don't doubt it. Yeah. So, any plans on collaborating in other ways?
We haven't thought of anything yet, but you never know. You never know. But we haven't. This is our main focus.
Yes.
So, I know that we're here to advertise and to talk about the book and get information out there about it. Do you go to the city? I mean, you were on the Globe and Mail list before. What goes into it?
Well, we've done. First of all, Firefly Publishing has been amazing. Yeah. They've really been fantastic. So they've done a lot of promotion for us. I was on CBC Radio one morning live.
Wow.
It went all right. So we've done that. We did an author talk at the library in Thornbury. And we're in a lot of local stores in Collingwood. We're in the museum and at Coriander. In Thornbury, we're in Jessica's Book Nook and in Carrie's Honey House. In Owen Sound, we're at the Tom Thompson Gallery and at Coles, but we're also on Indigo. You can go on indigo.ca and order there, but we really do. And all Coles. We really do encourage people to use their local stores and their local bookstores.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. That's always a good plug, right?
But we've been doing various and a lot of articles in local newspapers, and so it's already selling quite well, and we're very pleased. Yeah.
Well, it's pretty exciting, and I mean, how did you guys meet originally? That made you think of these ladies?
That's so hard.
I don't remember.
Sometimes you don't remember. I don't remember ever my first meeting with Beverly. You just get to know each other.
For 40 years we've known each other.
Yeah.
So
Carrie
it's hard to...
Carrie and I both had stores on the main street of Thornbury. And back in the day, Thornbury was pretty quiet during the week.
Yes.
So we stood on the sidewalk quite a lot, getting to know each other very well, keeping an eye on our doors.
Yes.
But no, over a 40-year period. And I guess when we first did the book, we'd probably known each other for 10 or 15 years.
Yeah.
So we just knew each other so well and knew what each other was capable of. And yeah.
The first book we printed, my husband said we only printed 750, and if we could pay for the paper stock in 30 days, he'd appreciate that. And we were just doing like, well, if we make enough money to have a Christmas party, the three of us, with our spouses, I guess, and we were back in 3 weeks and said, we need 1,000. We were on London TV, Rogers, and then down to CBC Radio Noon, and it was,
we did end up with the first book. We did end up selling more than 5,000 of it, which is why we ended up on the bestseller list.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So,
What a fabulous local story, you know, and very exciting. It just goes to show you just don't know I think when you've got a passion for things and you have like-minded people, it can just take off and you never know where it's going to go.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's worked well.
So are you going to be doing some book signings locally where our viewers can come and see you and buy the book locally from you guys direct?
We never turned down an invitation.
We did at the author talk. We did a book signing.
Yeah.
We go to Jessica's and sign.
Yes.
We haven't actually done here. Come and watch us sign a book.
Yep.
Other than the author talk, we just pop into Carrie's Honey House and sign some copies, and then
pop into Jessica's and sign copies.
Yes.
So where is the Honey House, just so people know, so that if they want to come and meet one of the authors and maybe get some signed copies?
Well, we are downtown Clarksburg at 204 Marsh Street. You can't miss us. It's a big blue building, and we've been there we're celebrating our 25th anniversary this year.
Oh my gosh.
So we've been there for a while.
Yes.
But it's always been honey. Of course, it's the only book that I'm carrying in there.
It is a honey house.
But it's
And it's not going to have sticky pages.
no,
right?
no sticky pages.
All
but
right.
wax.
yeah, but they are all signed at the Honey House and at Jessica's so far.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming in. Thank you for making me aware of it because I didn't know about this book, but it is fabulous.
And thank you
so
for
be
having
sure.
us.
Oh, yeah. Anytime, come back with the next collaboration. I say. All right.
you.
Well, we will be back after these messages on Grey County Life.
Let's make a broccoli salad. I just picked up my new copy of Backroads of Southern Georgian Bay. It's full of historical facts, beautiful maps, and delicious recipes. We are trying the easy broccoli salad picnic recipe and hitting the road. Combine broccoli, cranberries, crumbled feta cheese, and some nuts and seeds. Set the salad aside and grab a smaller bowl to make the dressing, adding yogurt, honey, and a squeeze of fresh lemon juice, mixing everything together well. Pour the dressing over the salad and gently toss it all together. Option to mix in a little red onion for extra flavor, and we are good to go. Grab your copy from Indigo or your local bookstore.
Johnny wanted to go back home. It was 1,000 kilometers away. They forced him to go to the Indian residential school. More than 150,000 of us children had to go. They wanted to change us.
Our Father in heaven, hallowed be your name.
Hallowed be your name.
Thy kingdom come.
Thy kingdom come.
Thy will be done.
Thy will be done.
Kill the Indian and the child. It's been called cultural genocide. I survived residential school. My brother Johnny did not.
Chani Wenjack was one of thousands of children who died due to Canada's residential school system. More than 80,000 survivors and their families still live with its legacy today.
Hi, I'm Dave Carr. Next time on Politically Speaking, the municipal clerks of Owen Sound, Meaford, and Georgian Bluffs. We're having mayoralty debates, but let's talk about the process of voting on Politically Speaking on Rogers TV.
Wasn't a secret what I care at all. Never thought I'd fall. Trusted my default. I'd call you, text at midnight. Oh, when we wanted to feel something. Wasn't really something. So inviting. How are those lips so enticing? Boy, I've been here before. Can't take any more. Not trying to do the right thing. I take a puff because I want you. Inhale all these fumes, nothing else to do. You're killing me, boy, with that smooth voice. Tell me anything, I'll be listening. Why is your presence so inviting? So inviting. How are those lips so enticing? Boy, I've been here before. Can't take any more. Why is your presence so inviting? Oh. Trying to do the right thing.
Welcome back to Grey County Life on Rogers TV. We have a musician in the house, Mary Jane.
Well, we do. We're very fortunate to have Paige Warner join us. And The Right Thing is a really amazing song. I listened to it on the computer before the show, and you just did a beautiful job of that song now here in the studio. So welcome, Paige. It's a delight to have you.
Thanks. I'm really happy to be here.
Okay. Well, Paige's music is, I mean, you should tell us more about it, but Paige's music is kind of a blend between R&B and soul, and then you do this thing with the rhythms and the overlays and that sort of thing. So tell us more about how you found your voice or your style.
Yeah, I don't know if I have found my voice, and it feels like it's always changing, and I find something new that I like, and then the next song I find something else new that I like. So yeah, the genre boxes are hard to fit in a little bit, so I kind of just, you know, let each song have its own life and its own genre to fit in, so to speak. So yeah, that one, like, it was kind of pop, kind of R&B, a little bit of modern blues rock, it kind of mix of things, so yeah.
So how did this all get started?
Well, I started singing when I was really young, and I always knew I loved it. I honestly don't think I ever wanted to be anything else, so made it kind of easy to choose.
Yeah, oh my gosh, you were so lucky.
Yeah, I know. So yeah, like I found a diary entry from when I was 7 that said, I'm gonna be a singer when I grow up. So I guess that's when I really decided. And then once I got into those teenage years, I learned guitar and piano to just kind of to accompany myself. So yeah.
Wow. And is all of your music self-written? Like you do all your music and your lyrics?
Yes, I do write my own stuff. I have a couple songs that are like co-writes, so I worked with other songwriters on those too to collaborate for them. But yeah, they're all me.
Wow. Well, you weren't originally from this area, but now you've moved up here and developed this wonderful fondness for our area.
Yes, I definitely have. I moved here, what is it now, 2 years ago? And I kind of moved temporarily during COVID. I was just trying to be close to family, and I was sick of living alone. And then once I got here, I couldn't imagine leaving, and I really don't know where I would go that I would feel more comfortable and feel more at home. So I think I'm stuck for a while in a good way.
Nice, very nice.
Well, I noticed on your video, The Right Thing, that I watched, you had captured so many of the beautiful spots in our local area. So immediately, not only did I become attached to the song, but I also became attached to the videography that was going on behind you.
Yeah, that one, I actually was trying to choose a backdrop in the area because there are so many stunning backdrops, and I couldn't decide, so I just shot a little bit here and there and chose a few of my favorite spots and thought I'd decide after. And then when I saw everything, I was like, let's just put it all in because I don't know what to choose. So yeah, that worked out really well. And I honestly, I love like supporting local and really pushing like tourism or just people appreciating the beauty around here. So that was really important to me to have those kind of recognizable landscapes and stuff in the video.
Well, I think not only that, but it reflects your commitment to the community, even though it's really, you know, anchored here for 2 years. But I also think that you're also hitting all the hot spots too that are coming up in our area. So tell us about that.
Yeah, so I'm releasing a new song October 21st, and I'm going to be playing a show at Heartwood Concert Hall to kind of celebrate and have a little party about that being a release. So it'll be a full concert, full band and everything, and it's like my favorite venue, so I'm really excited to put on a show there.
It's gorgeous. Yeah. It is gorgeous. I mean, you can't help but look good on that stage. It's just such a pretty venue.
I know, and they do open mics and stuff too, so like, I've been on the stage and I'm already like, I need to put on a show here, so yeah, that's happening.
So do you go to the open mic sometimes there?
I do, yeah.
Wow, good to know, good to know, yeah.
So this past summer, you've been, because now we're opening up and we can do things again, where have you been playing?
Yeah, so I did a little mini Ontario tour with my backing band in July, and we played a lot of the summer festivals that were going on. It actually ended up being really kind of cramped into 2 weeks. We were just driving around doing shows straight for a couple of weeks, it felt like. But we hit the Paisley Blues Festival, we did a Harbor Nights show, and we hit a bunch of all the kind of Southern Ontario festivals that I've been wanting to play for a while. And now that I have the backing band, who are all local musicians, by the way, so I'm very proud to say that.
Wow. Do we want to give their names?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So we got Brendan Boonstra on the bass, we got Jacob Corsten on the guitar, Mitch Urque on the drums, and Stephen Warner, same last name, on the piano. That's my dad. Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, I'm really happy to have those local talents involved.
Yeah, that sounds amazing. And I guess you're it's a family affair. Yeah.
We all feel like family at this point, so.
You do. You're together and you're collaborating, and you know that seems to be the theme today: collaboration, which is kind of neat. Yeah.
Totally.
What's the next step?
So, I mean, the next thing I'm really excited about is this new single coming out. It's called Lose Lose, and it comes out October 21st. So that's the kind of reason we're doing this Heartwood show, to celebrate that. And then, of course, there'll be more music coming after that. But that's the next big train stop, I guess.
Wow.
So have you put out an LP?
So the first thing I released was an EP. It just had 5 songs on it.
Oh.
And then I've kind of been doing singles since then. Up to now, all the singles have kind of had their own feel, and I wanted them to be able to have their own space and promote it like that, right? Like this upcoming song kind of has like a little bit of a outlaw vibe to it, which doesn't really fit with the other songs. So it's nice to, I don't know, release it on its own and let it have its own kind of place to speak. Yeah.
So where does the song Liquor fit into all of this?
Yeah, so Liquor was almost a bridge, I think, between kind of what I used to release and what I'm releasing now. The first stuff I released was very pop with like hints of R&B, I'd say. And Liquor brought in a bit more of that soul touch, especially vocally. And yeah, it was a very mellow song, I guess, which is, I guess people say my songs are sad, which is okay. I don't know how else I would write if I didn't have some sadness to express.
Hello, look at Adele, you know? I mean, her whole life is like an open book for us through her music.
Exactly.
And that, if it speaks to you and it's moving you emotionally, that to me makes for great music.
Yeah, well, and yeah, I find when I'm happy, I want to, you know, see people and go outside and stuff, and when I'm sad, that's when I sit and write a song. So that's how they turn out. So yeah, that was kind of one of the sad ones, but it led a bit more into this soul flavor in some of the songs now.
Wow. So you're finding, as you mentioned, you are still sort of finding your voice in terms of what going forward, and you're now in the sort of the experimental stage?
Yeah, I kind of want to stay in that experimental stage. Yeah. I think something that I felt when I first started songwriting was this pressure to, you know, be what people expect or be what's most trendy right now and that kind of thing. And I wrote a song called People Pleasing, actually, that's out as well. And that was the turning point for me, where I thought, you know what, I just want to let the song be what it's going to be and not have the pressure that I was putting on myself or other people were putting, that, you know, you need to be a pop artist if you're going to get on radio, or, you know, you need to have more grit so people take you seriously, that kind of thing. So I just let each song be what it's going to be, and then I guess my voice will be always evolving. So yeah, like that's what I'm trying to stay true to right now.
Well, I find the most meaningful songs are the ones that are just simply authentic. When the artist is engaged in the lyrics and in the music, and it's just a reflection of them being their authentic self, and not trying to, as you say, fit into a very specific genre for the sort of media exposure.
Yeah, totally. And I mean, like with this upcoming song, like I said, it's still pop and it's still kind of blues and soul, but it definitely has that outlaw touch to it. And I think when I first started writing that was a bit nerve-wracking for me, because I was nervous that people would start to think, wait, is she starting to go country, or what's going on?
What's she doing?
Yeah, what's she doing? And then, you know, I was with my producer, Craig Smith, from Collingwood, and we were working on the song, and I just heard these sounds. I'm like, no, it has to have this grit, and it has to, like, to be true to the message of the song, right? So yeah, and I didn't want to ruin a song by being like, no, let's put some pop sounds in there, when it wasn't true to the message of it.
I think traditionally when artists you had to put out an album. It wasn't so much singles, and I think, as far as I know, singles would go on the album, but that would be part of a package. I think that the way music is accessible today to people, you can do that. You can do what you're doing, where it's, this is what I'm feeling right now, this is what I'm feeling now, and who knows what I'm going to be feeling 2 years from now, and it could be completely different, but it's still your music and it's your evolution.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing, like, if I'm writing it, there's going to be something that is Paige throughout. I have to remind myself of that sometimes.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's kind of nice having that pressure off, not having to make everything fit together. And people have such short attention spans these days anyway, so, you know, I'm happy when an artist releases one single. If there's an album, like, hey, wait, I gotta do that on the weekend or something when I have time.
Yeah, it's like, that's way too much. Yeah, of a time commitment.
Yeah, so it works, and people just like stream music mostly now anyways, so it's, yeah, like you said, easily accessible.
Yep.
Well, the music scene has really changed over the years. I won't go back to the many decades that that I'm involved in terms of music, but I think what I'm enjoying most now is the way the artists are becoming more authentic than being staged.
Yeah, and I think, I mean, I'm no expert in this at all, but I think that has a lot to do with so many artists not being attached to big companies anymore, right? A lot of artists are independent, myself included. So you can make your own choices. You don't have this big machine behind you going, we need to make much money off you, so you need to make an album that's, you know, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, has all these things so that we can sell it, right? You're less of a product now, I think, and more of an artist, really. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think when you are being true to your own feelings and passions and emotions with it, and just going with what you're feeling, it's going to be successful. I think it's going to be, as you say, authentic, and it's really usually good music. There's always going to be somebody that's going to relate to what you're experiencing.
Oh, totally. Yeah, and I think people can see through stuff that sometimes we don't think they can, you know. If you write something that's genuine, people will feel it, right? So, yeah.
So remind us again, where are you going to be and what day? Because we do not want to miss this.
So Friday, October 21st, my new song, Lose Lose, comes out, and we're having a release show at Heartwood Concert Hall, which is downtown Owen Sound. And doors are at 7:30, show starts at 8:30. And we got a couple opening artists as well. We have Gracie Jett and Janet C. Taylor. So it's a stacked lineup of local talent. So yeah, you don't want to miss it.
Well, one of the things about our community is we have so much talent within our community, and being able to draw on that and build relationships going forward. I mean, it just supports everyone going forward.
Oh, totally. And I found that when I moved here, like the art scene is so dense, and I didn't expect it. You know, I thought, oh, it's going to be real hard to find a band around here, and like within 2 weeks, boom, 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 there we go. I'm like, okay.
Wow.
Yeah, it's really great.
That is impressive. And I love that you have your family involved, and and local artists. It's great. We're so glad you came by today, Paige,
Thanks
and let
for
us hear your
having me.
music. And we're looking forward to the Heartwood show. I can't wait, actually. Yeah, that'll be really interesting. It's cool to see people you know up on the stage, and you feel like you know because you're local. This is awesome.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Oh, well, it's been a pleasure, and I'm going to get a little plug in here with our little 30-second hand sign here, is that Paige Warner is going to be my very first guest for the season of Her Story, The Journey to Winning a Seat at the Table, and she has found a seat at the table.
Wow, that is so awesome.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Yes, and it will air in January.
Fantastic. We'll be back after these messages on Grey County Life.
It's closing time, and you stayed out longer than you planned. So now you can't drive. and the buses have stopped running. You could always call your girlfriend. Or maybe your roommate? What about your best friend? You could just dial 1-888-TAXI-GUY or use the Taxi Guy app. The call and the app are free, and they both connect you to a local cab company to bring you home safely. Visit arrivealive.org to find out more. Arrive Alive, drive sober.
What kind of show do you want to see on Rogers TV? What interests you? Log on to rogerstv.com, fill out a show proposal, and tell us about your segment idea. We want to know what you want to see. Rogers TV, only on Rogers.
Welcome back to Grey County Life on Rogers TV. I'm one of your hosts, Rhonda. We've got Miss Mary Jane, and it's one of everybody's favorite segments. We've got Adorable Adoptables with Miss Renee, and we've got a very special guest today. Tell us about this character.
Well, this is my friend Bob, or whatever you are going to call him. Bob is a special little kitten in that Bob is a Manx. And you're probably wondering why I have this towel draped on my lap. I have not had an accident. You have not had an accident. Bob, of course, is a black kitten, and black kittens don't showcase so well because they blend in with the background. It's often a problem we have at the shelter. People walk right past the cages because they just kind of blend into the background. And additionally, when we showcase them on a pair of black jeans, which is what I'm about to do, they disappear. Hence the towel. Now, Bob is a 12-week-old kitten, and we've recently showcased a couple of dogs, and we still have dogs coming in, but the kittens are kind of getting left in the background. Again, another reason to be in the background. We should call you Background Bob. So we've brought him today to not only showcase him because he's wicked cute and adorable and available to go home, but also because we have others. And we need to remind people that we have others, because often everybody goes, oh, springtime's kitten season. Well, we actually end up with 2 kitten seasons, and the second one is the fall, which is right now. Yesterday, for example, I had 8 little tiny babies come in. So wow, we have this bunch, who are slowly moving out and are leaving, but we have others coming available. So if you are a family perhaps watching who has been considering a kitten and thinking there's no way you're going to get one right now, the truth is you will. Yep. Little Bob, for example, is available. He's got some friends who are his age, and then we have some younger ones that will be coming available soon. So probably this week there's some, next week there's some, and in 3 or 4 weeks there'll be more. So call us. If you have particular things you're looking for, we can connect you with that as well. Bob, again, is a little different in that, let's turn your little bum around here. I was going to say, Bob is a Manx. What is that? It is a breed of cat that is born without a tail. In the earlier years, people actually thought they were a cat-rabbit crossbred. To be honest with you, when we started our job at the animal shelter a really long time ago, I'm so old, 20 plus years ago, we actually had people who called us about stray cabbits, and they thought they were a cat-rabbit combination. Oh, now, if you are watching and you believe that there are cabbits, maybe there is. I've just never known one, but I have met many Manx cats, which are cats without tails. Now, something a little different about these cats is that they are sort of hunched in body posture. I mean, I don't know that Bob's going to do this for me, but, and they have a little round face. So they're a smaller, hunchy, hoppy-looking cat. Imagine a rabbit with no ears. You've got yourself a Manx. Oh, my goodness. Or we can call it a cabbit if it makes you take it home. You can call it whatever you want to. He is 12 weeks, so he is not quite old enough to lose his little boy parts, unfortunately. Sorry, buddy, close your ears. We're still growing them. So he will require that surgery done in his new home. So he will get a lot bigger. They're not a giant cat, but he will probably double in this size. Right? Right. He is beautiful. He is. Very sleek. Let me sit here, maybe. You could gorgeous. See better. Black cat. He is vaccinated, dewormed, defleed, litter trained, and been exposed to dogs, cats, all sorts of people, all sorts of things. He's met a rabbit. So he's been out and about in the world. He's a social little dude. If you are looking for something particular, maybe you're watching this show and you're like, oh my goodness, they get Manxes, call me, because hey, look, I have one.
Yeah.
We also very recently had some Siamese, 2 in fact last week. We've also had Himalayans recently. We have a Russian Blue coming available. The reason I'm mentioning this is maybe you're waiting, watching the website, watching the Facebook page, searching on Kijiji, looking for particular things. Call me.
Yes.
We get them. And we really, really enjoy when we can get them the heck out of there the minute they come in and not have to put them through time with us. Yeah. For example, if we would have had somebody looking for a Manx, we would have already placed Bob probably a week ago. Yep. In saying that, he did have litter mates that have been adopted by Manx lovers, which is nice, but we've used up our list. So potentially, if Bob is adopted and you miss him and you want a Manx, again, stay on that list, because it can happen.
Silly question. In his litter, there's more than one Manx?
They all were, yeah. Their mother was a Manx, and the entire litter was born tailless.
Wow.
Weird, right?
Yeah, wow.
It actually helps us identify the breed in those cases. I mean, we do have weird situations where we have things born with things missing, but this is a breed thing. I mean, I don't know how else to put that. Sometimes they're missing a limb. I mean, recently we had that too, but this is supposed to be this way.
Yeah,
this
I mean, this is not an accident.
This is a breed thing.
That is so
much like our Australian Shepherds in the dog world are a breed of dog, probably the only breed of dog born without a tail. It is not cropped or docked. It is something that it happens with birth. Yeah. Same with the Manx cats. Weird. Yeah. Weird, right? Yeah. Anyway, he is a great little dude, and maybe if your partner will not allow you to have a cat, you could say, how about a half a cat? Yeah.
How about a cabbit?
How about a cabbit?
It's not a cat, dear. It's a cabbit.
Exactly. I don't know.
He has no tail.
Work it.
He's
I don't
part
know.
rabbit.
Exactly. You work it.
And you know, he's black, but he does actually have some variation in his color there.
He does. There is a little bit of chocolate. We're going to tell him like an Easter bunny, maybe. You're like a chocolate little Easter bunny.
Tasty little morsel.
I mean, we can pretend. We can call you whatever we want that gets you to go home, right? As you can see, he's going to be great just about anywhere he goes.
He's a happy
Very
cat.
content to sit and cuddle, but still very playful and entertaining, doing this little jump around business. He's giving me kisses now. Thank you so much.
Now, we want to, I know Mary Jane would want everybody to know that Chicken Nugget did get adopted.
And her name is now Molly, which is a lot nicer than Chicken Nugget, although she'll always be a Chicken Nugget to me. She's doing just fantastic in her home. I'm getting lots of updates. Life is wonderful for her, and that's what we like to say, because that's hopefully next week we're going to be saying the same thing about you, little Bob.
Yes.
Yeah.
Bob. I love the name Bob. That is so cute, Bob.
It gives us something to do.
It does, yes.
Right? We could have called you Bunny. We could have, but you're a boy.
Well, and if you know, people are thinking that they want to have something trained before the winter flies, this is a great time to come in and get a pet.
This is the time. For the animal shelter, we go through a bit of a panic mode this time of year because we anticipate, as the cold weather approaches, our numbers increase. People have outdoor cats. They have feral colonies that they've been keeping an eye on. It's harder for them to keep their dogs in the snow, and we fill up. So if you're considering and wondering when the time is right on our end, you'd be doing us a big favor to call us soon. Because we don't want to be full.
And call and get on the list so that Renee knows what you're looking for, and you will find a pet, the one that you think is ideal.
That's right.
It
We'll
could
match you
come
up.
in. Yeah, get matched up.
We'll match you up.
It's like Match.com.
It is. It really is. And it's important that we take our time to do that as well.
Yeah.
Right, buddy?
Thank you. See you next week on Grey County Life on Rogers TV. Bye now.
Call the Rogers TV viewer response line, email us, or connect with us on social media.
was John's graduation. We were so proud. We all got together for a picnic. That's when we heard coming from the radio. So we stopped and we listened. It helped us get to safety. That's why when I think of John, because now he has a real future to look forward to.